Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? So the Saints are continuing their push toward cap compliance. Of course, by the start of the new league year, they've got to be within the number of the salary cap. And the Saints were around $42 million over the salary cap before the day. And now there are reports that the Saints have restructured both Cam Jordan and Tanoh Kpassagnon to get even closer to cap compliance. That should save about $12.5 million in cap space. That should put, if my numbers are right, the Saints around $30 million over the cap. So still a lot of work to do, but they know well enough this procedure and how they go about doing it. With Cam Jordan, they were able to spread his cap hit out over 2023 and avoided 2024 season. So basically a voided year, but they'll have a cap number on it for Cam Jordan. And then for Tanoh Kpassagnon, they were able to add 3 void years in place after the 2022 season to spread out his number. So the Saints are doing their due diligence right now to save money. The other thing they did also, however, on the defensive line is they re-signed Carl Granderson and defensive tackle Jalen Dalton. And, the Saints' sack numbers weren't as elite a year ago as they had been when they had been really top 5 every year since Dennis Allen had been back. But what you did see, and look, a big part of that, obviously, was Trey Hendrickson leaving for Cincinnati. There was a guy that was a double-digit sack guy. He had so many opportunities playing opposite Cam Jordan, goes to Cincinnati, has another double-digit sack season. Clearly, he's an elite pass rusher in the NFL right now. The contract was warranted. The Saints just couldn't pay him, in large part because of the year and everything with the salary cap reducing. You all know the story by now, but that's why I think in total that number was down a little bit. But when you look at individual performances, there's some really nice things to like off the edge. Cam Jordan, despite the fact that he's in his 30s now, Cam Jordan had a bit of a resurgence last year. After the back-to-back double-digit sack seasons in 17, 18, and 19, Cam Jordan kind of hit that wall in 2020, with just 7.5 sacks. It is disgusting that his Iron Man streak came to an end because of COVID, but he had 12.5 sacks this season. It was actually the third highest sack total of his career. In 2019, he had 15.5, and in 2017, he had 13. It's the third highest sack total season of his entire career. And it came after a slow start this season, but once he hit his groove, man, he was rolling. So Cam Jordan, who continues to play the highest percentage of snaps, he's had that reputation throughout his career, a guy who has stayed healthy throughout his entire career, never missed a game until having to miss a game because of COVID. This obviously guarantees Cam Jordan is going to continue to stay and remain a New Orleans Saint, but there's no reason to think, like when you just look at Cam Jordan's statistics, 4 of the last 5 seasons, he's had double-digit sacks. 2020 is the outlier, and you could just say, COVID year, which was weird for everybody. And maybe that was his regression when Trey Hendrickson had the big monster season. Tanoh Kpassagnon had the injury this year as well, so he only ended up playing in 8 games for New Orleans. Started 5 of them. But when he was on the field, he was massively impactful as a role player, not only as a big dude that's like 6'7" that can sit there and like block kicks and everything, but as a guy who can deflect passes, but as an edge rusher as well. Tanoh Kpassagnon had 4 sacks in just 8 games. That ties his career high from 2019 with Kansas City when he had 4 sacks in 16 games. So in half the games played, he matched his career sack total. You needed somebody to pick up the slack from Trey Hendrickson, and Kpassagnon and Carl Granderson kind of did it. Granderson last year was another guy in his third year in the NFL that they counted on. He came up with 3 sacks, played in 15 games, started 3 times, but wasn't an every down guy, was a rotational player. But he came up with 3 sacks. So I guess my point is, for the Saints, you lose Trey Hendrickson, and the question is, is the whole greater than the sum of its parts? Is losing Trey Hendrickson, like, can you replace him? While he may not be replaceable in one person, you were able to do so collectively with guys rotating in. And there's this gigantic asterisk to go there as well. And that's Marcus Davenport and of course Turner, Peyton Turner as well. So Marcus Davenport was by far and has been the Saints' most disruptive defensive lineman when he's been on the field. He's entering his 5th season in the NFL. The Saints picked up his option. But the problem obviously has been he's just never stayed healthy. 13 games in year 1, 13 games in year 2, 11 games in year 3, 11 games in year 4. I mean, he has started, aside from 2019 when he started all 13 games he played in, aside from that season, he started a combined 10 games in the other 3 seasons. But the kicker for Davenport this year is he had 9 sacks in 11 games. I mean, he is a double-digit sack guy if he could ever just stay healthy, and I know that's a giant if, and you have a 4-season sample now to suggest he can't stay healthy because he doesn't stay healthy. He's going to get injured again. It's just what he has been in his career. He doesn't play a full season. Some of it's bad luck. I don't know if it's training, if it's genetics or whatever, but when he's on the field, he's a monster. And you have to look and say, man, what if he could actually find a way to stay healthy? But that feels like a risky gamble at this point with Marcus Davenport. But again, Davenport is your best option to turn in a double-digit sack season opposite Cam Jordan, which is doable provided he stays healthy. And then there's Peyton Turner, which, I don't know what even to say. We were so excited about Peyton Turner because of his versatility. With all of the players that they lost a year ago because of the cap issues across the defensive line, from Malcolm Brown and Sheldon Rankins and Trey Hendrickson. I mean, you all know the list. Peyton Turner was intoxicating because he was a guy that was athletic enough to kick out and play in and physical enough to kick down and play defensive tackle and was probably going to have to play some of both. And we saw him do that, but he only played in 5 games. I understand the comparisons to Davenport. You're looking at the guy, the athletic edge rusher from a small school who they traded up in round 1 to take, and now he's been sort of snake bitten with injuries. I don't know that that's a fair label for Peyton Turner after 1 year. Let's hope he stays healthy. But with re-signing Granderson and obviously retaining Kpassagnon, restructuring Kpassagnon, and you've got Cam Jordan, and then you're hoping that one of those 2 guys I just mentioned, or hope best case scenario is both, Davenport and Turner, stay healthy, you have an incredible rotation of guys that have been productive NFL ends, edge rushers, in their time when they've been healthy. Can you stay healthy? Because if you end up with a scenario where it's Cam Jordan and Marcus Davenport, and rotating behind them are Tanoh, Kpassagnon, and Carl Granderson, and you throw Peyton Turner in the mix as a 5th body, now all of a sudden you're talking about one of the best position groups in the NFL at that spot. Maybe not the guy who is the elite guy in the league, but collectively maybe one of the best position groups in the NFL at defensive end if you can keep all those guys healthy. So the Saints did some work there on the defensive line today, and was really good to see as they move closer and closer to cap compliance. Got to get there by next week with the start of the league year, so still a lot of work to do for New Orleans. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.